name is Kelly Sampson-Kaler, and I'm the Director of Program Development, and I'm located in the Wichita, Kansas facility. Today, I would like to talk about how to use an open order report to effectively manage your programs. There are two key issues of an open order report, or things that we want to look for. We use an open order report today to determine if the orders that we have sufficient stock on hand to support the orders that need to go out of the facility. We also use the report to check to see if there's any open orders that are past due. And I want to walk you through on how to pull this tool to use to manage your programs. When we go to SO6, first in Cardex, you'll go to SO6. From there, this screen will come up and it will ask you your customer's account number. We'll put that customer account number in. And then the next question that it's going to ask you is which warehouses that you want to check to see the inventory levels of stock. So in this case, we'll put in one customer, and if that customer shippable warehouse is warehouse 11, we will put that. But if we also wanted to check the inventory levels that are in Miami, we would also put warehouse 2 as an option. The stuff in the middle on the open order report, all of that is optional. For today's purposes, we're not going to get into the details of the additional information. What we're going to focus on is after the open order report is pulled, we're going to look at the 10 common areas as to why an order is not shipping out of the warehouse. So today, the most, and I think Arlene touched upon this, but one of the top reasons that an order does not ship is order entry sometimes, but on a program, they're already predetermined. And the example that I'm going to show you is on a Cherry Rivet, a CR 3214-4-2, may be on a Cessna contract, just like that part number. That's the part number that was actually signed on the addendum. But on another customer's contract, it might be listed as a -02. It used to be in the industry that it was sufficient that you could enter the order either way and people would release the orders, but the quality systems have tightened a lot that we have to be accurate. So if your order's not dropping, these are the few things that you're going to look for. If the part is sorted correctly, another example of a cert issue is not just missing a number as such as a 0, but the dash or the slash in the part number is out of place. And so the second example that I have is that the not sorted to part number at HL18 PB5-8 sometimes is sorted to an HL18 PB-5-8. Once again, different companies recognize it different ways. There's various reasons for that. You have to look back in the history as to in the 70s and 80s, some computers didn't recognize the dashes and the slashes, and so they clumped or they stripped the part numbers and lumped them together, or the engineers set them up that way. Another thing that we have to check, if your customer requires that some of his parts are DFAR required, there's a flag in the system that we need to check to make sure that that flag is not set at yes, because if you're trying to ship a non-DFAR part, the order is not going to drop. Another thing is ITAR. If the part is an ITAR qualified part, something that shouldn't be going out of the United States to a particular customer or to a country that may use something in that part number or that part number, the material or whatever, to do something. The clear definition, I guess, is to do something that they could use it for things that they really shouldn't. I don't know how to explain that. I apologize. The system's also going to check to make sure that it has test reports. So if your customer requires that it has test reports on every order that goes out, if there's none in the system that are showing up on that order, the order, once again, is not going to drop. It's also going to check manufacturers. If it's an approved manufacturer, or some customers specifically say that not approved manufacturers can be used for an order. The obvious one is the no stock in the shippable warehouse. That's another good reason why the order's not dropping. The shelf life. If there's different varieties of shelf lives, some people can use the 10-year industry standard on certain product, but then there are certain customers that have tighter constraints and say you can only use 50% of the shelf life that's out there. That's another reason why the order will not drop. The system has all of that pre-programmed in by contracts, and it checks all that to make sure that it's meeting all the requirements of the customer terms. If there's no image for your certs, it will also not drop. And the required date versus consolidate date. I learned something this week with Arlene when we were talking about that. If your consolidated date is for your orders for your customer to leave on a Tuesday, we need to have the cutoff time on Monday, so that we have to have an understanding of how we're ordering those or entering those orders to make that happen. Is there any other reason as to why an order has not shipped that you believe we might need to add here? Does anybody come across any that you're aware of?